So I know this wasn't part of the rules, but I think I did it last year, and so I decided to do it again this year, which was to spread the love around. So these are in reverse order, but they happen to be one
Are they
from every.
are they ranked like one? Do you have one
No,
to five?
I have mine ranked because I think
Okay, good.
that matters, right?
And
Would you
then
actually
That matters. That's the
not
whole
would you
point.
actually have one from each of us, Chris?
But I did that last year too.
Yeah.
that's so sweet.
Yeah.
I
Well,
did it
I will
too.
tell you because I'm going to start with
This is the first time I also have that, Chris.
I'm going to start with something from Mr. Harden, and I will tell you that both John and Scott were challenging, if for no other reason than by my count, I'd seen 10 of the 16 movies Scott picked already, and 9 of John's picks. And unfortunately for you, John, most of the stuff that you picked that I hadn't seen was
bad,
like Naked.
Well, we're never forgiving you for that, John.
That's for Ted. That's for Ted.
That's everyone's.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
everyone's worst.
Do you
movie of the
fancy a
year.
raping?
No,
Do you fancy a
honestly,
rape?
I hated How Green Was My Valley even more than Naked, but
Wow.
Really?
That's
Oh,
saying
I didn't.
something.
That movie's just mediocre.
without
Like,
even a little, but John, you picked His Girl Friday, which I found delightful.
Love.
One of the things I like about this show is it forces me to watch movies I probably should have seen by now. One of them, and I understand why it is a
Love it.
classic, and it's effervescent and charming, and yeah, totally great.
Cool.
I totally understand the love. Next, Jared.
So that's your number 5?
That's my number 5. My number 4, Jared, was almost the opposite. I think based on, I'd only seen one of the movies that you picked.
I'll go ahead and say, I'll just jump in.
Which was Barbarian?
I saw Barbarian. I had not seen or heard of many of the other ones on this list. So it was a little bit tough for me to pick a favorite of the 3, but you did pick pick Dogtooth, which was fucked up. And
really,
I just
Yorgos Lanthimos movie was fucked up.
I love that guy's movies. This was no exception. It's weird and sterile and dark.
I forgot that was this year. I thought it was last year.
No. I mean, it's
Actually,
time has no meaning, Jared.
Hold on, it's not this year. This last year. No, wait, right. I'm looking at it's in
No,
Greek.
it was just early this year.
No,
it was
early
this year.
No, I have it here in Greek,
213.
so I didn't see it.
I didn't fuck up. Yeah, so you picked Dogtooth. I really like Dogtooth. I'm going to watch Dogtooth again. I like Dogtooth the way I like most of the rest of this guy's movies. I can't wait to see the new one, even though it seems to be fairly polarizing.
It's polarizing. Which
I can't wait. I hear good things though.
It's supposed to be one of his comedies, though, so it's going to be extra weird.
I think all of his movies are comedies. To be honest.
Yeah.
I laugh at The Lobster.
The Lobster is an absolute
The Lobster
comedy.
is a comedy.
The only one that's maybe not is the Sacred Deer. That might not
Sacred
be a
Deer is
comedy.
not a comedy.
But I think the favorite's a comedy. The favorite is a comedy.
You can laugh. That doesn't make it a comedy.
Sacred Deer has very.
I have other movies, Jared. You end up in my honorable mentions, which I'll get to in a second. Jim also had not seen a lot of movies on this list. This was an easy one for me. The Captain.
Oh,
I loved every minute
That
of it.
movie is so good. I don't think I was on the show for that particular episode, but I wanted to tell you, Jim, that I think that is a fantastic movie.
Magnificent movie. I've been wanting to watch it for a while. I'm glad I finally saw it.
I want to watch it again.
What stuck the landing, just everything about it. Great. Tad picked my number 2.
Also, one of the best post-credit sequences that we've had on this show is the Captain.
We talked about that.
Absolutely.
They shoot horses, don't they?
Whoa!
I love this movie. Again,
We knew you did.
This long to see it. It's like just perfect encapsulation of nihilistic 70s apocalypse movie. Great performances. Pollock like just nailing it really early. Thanks for picking it. Again, like one of these things I should have seen a long time ago. And then I believe I said at the beginning of the year that when Scott picked Frank, I'm like, oh, this is definitely going to be in my top 5. But that was before you picked Upgrade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, admittedly, like I said, whenever all of your friends are telling you should go watch this movie, maybe you should go watch this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
6 years to finally see it. It's everything everybody told me it was. My number one. Fucking great. It's I like it so much I went and like bought it immediately. That's
When he
Oh,
splits
yeah.
that guy's head in half with the knife. You're just
I,
like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah,
that was when
this
like
is that movie, huh?
I've never watched a movie with Johnny and we came out of theater and he was like, God, that was so great. He was like, that was so fun.
Everyone text Chris.
Yeah, no shit.
I just don't like as my wife frequently told me, I just don't listen. Honorable mentions. Frank. 13 Lives.
Yes.
Real Man. Cure. Weekend. M. And believe it or not, I married a monster.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, come on, it's fun. It's fun.
Hey, never forget Todd, or what's that guy's name? I loved that. Never forget.
Never forget the lobster.
No, that's
teenagers.
Oh, that's teenagers. Never mind. I love the teenagers. I love the teenagers. Never forget Tim or whatever.
This is the one with the good dogs in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the decent.
Yeah, they just love that
effects.
guy. They just look at his face. Like,
So, I actually had a really hard time with my one outside. I don't go to the movie theater nearly as much as Jared or John, but I did go see all the so-called most of the big movies.
I think you probably go more than John and less than me.
I don't know. No, not lately. But when I was going through, okay, so what have I seen this year? And I started going through the list, almost without exception. I'm going Napoleon, Holdovers, Killer, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Mission Impossible 7, John Wick 4, Asteroid City, Indiana Jones 5, like almost without exception, there's something about these movies that was either a little disappointing or profoundly disappointing.
Sure,
and so that just sort of summed up the year. But then, I started thinking about, well, I'm gonna give a shout out to these the kind of movies that come out that you don't expect anything from, yet you are just grinning ear to ear the entire running time. And I'm talking about Plane. Which I have now seen.
I didn't see that. I
have now seen multiple times. Sandy's seen it like 3 or 4
Gerard
times.
Butler.
Gerard Butler, if I think about going back to Hunter Killer, Greenland,
300.
Plane, Kandahar,
300,
Cop Shop, like the dude is just cranking
Oh,
out.
I love Cop Shop.
Better than they deserve to be.
I love Joe.
That you don't expect anything from, but consistently surprise you by how well that they are executed. And Plane was that movie for me this year. It's not.
I'm going to download pictures.
By anybody's standards, this is probably not a great movie, but I enjoyed the shit out of it, and that's why it's my number one.
Jim's up. Jim's are not weighted. They're all threes.
They're all threes.
They're all fives or ones. You make a choice. And also, I too have one. I spread the love around, I guess.
Oh.
Okay. But I do have to go in some order. Chris Pick here, Ronin. I wasn't around for watching it, but I've seen it before and I love it.
Frankenheimer, man.
Frankenheimer.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah,
Frankenheimer.
Can't read my hold on here. Old man.
Mine's really tiny type myself. I'm like
John Harden, French Connection. Excellent.
Oh shit,
John. And I haven't seen it since it came out, basically.
Wow. Going with the classic.
Jared made it into the thing, Napola, or Neighbors.
Oh yes, wow. Next door.
Next door, yeah. That's
right. Yeah, good stuff.
Scott made it too.
I'm so glad someone picked that.
What
did Scott hear that, Scott?
No,
M.
M.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, such a short word. I didn't.
And it's weird, Scott. I went down to there's the Lake Chapala Society, which is like this expat thing, and somebody had brought in boxes of bootleg DVDs. And the first one I looked at was the 1950 something remake of M. So I picked it up. So I'll watch that at some point.
Huh. I didn't know they
Also,
did that.
Jim, I just want to point out that I think it's great that you and I had that conversation in the chat about M, and then
Yeah.
like a couple of weeks later, Scott picked it. Like,
Scott picked it. Yeah.
I wasn't in that conversation either. It just
No, you weren't.
I
It
came
is.
up
No.
organically. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have Tad, of course, who is last but not least, Le Cercle Rouge.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Which I
good.
Yes.
That was actually a really great
Yes.
film.
Yeah,
That was
good
swimming
flick.
underneath my favorites. That's good stuff. So
Amazing.
that is great.
Next.
Excellent, man. Good stuff.
That's 5. That was fast.
Well, also did you see anything outside?
Oh, yes, I only really saw 2 movies this year, and so I put them together. Barbenheimer.
Oh, Barbenheimer. You know, that's gonna come out more than you think, I think.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with number 5,
Mhm.
which is a John Harden pick.
I heard of him.
And my number 5 is,
Hot Tub Time Machine.
I'm gonna add
Yeah, wait,
image.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Dun dun dun.
The suspense is killing me, Jared.
Oh my gosh. Well, you can't really see it because it's like really big.
I don't know what that movie is.
You need to
But
bring
it's the
Bob-
French Connection.
Oh, there you go.
Right
All
on.
right.
That's
Sounds like
actually,
a French Connection.
you have no idea how the image is going to turn out, but that's that's Popeye
Gene
Doyle
Hackman,
right
Yeah,
there.
exactly. You can tell his badge is on.
I can tell by his
So the
tie.
French Connection is a movie that I had seen only part of. I had never watched it till the end.
Mm.
Yeah.
This year, you forced me to watch it at the end, and I agree with Jim. It's dude, this is, I mean, obviously it's a classic for a reason. It's wonderful, but it's it's spectacular in a way that I was so happy to see it all the way through and just appreciate the filmmaking and the gonzo bizarro style filmmaking, and also just it's raw fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Dirty ass New York.
That's my number 5. My number 4.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do that. This is gonna take forever, you guys, but it's fine.
Is
Is a Chris Yarian pick,
Oh.
and that is we saw
Carrie.
Carrie.
I can tell what that is.
Yeah.
Carrie is number 4 because
It's amazing.
I hadn't seen it for a long time, and I love horror movies, but also this is more than a horror movie to me. It's such good filmmaking. It's such good visual storytelling.
The Greek tragedy.
I think you could
flow of
watch
the
this movie.
story itself is amazing.
You could watch the movie with the sound off and you would still get it. It would still hit you. It's just so beautifully done. And I love
The dancing scene where it's tracking one way and it's
and they
swinging
keep
the other way,
and it just gets
Yeah,
faster
it
and
gets
faster and faster and faster
Yeah.
and faster. And also I love the film stock here. I love the color grade. I love the glow of it. I love the really quick cuts into her eyes when she's using her powers at the end. There's so much to be said here, and I know it's a genre picture, but I think it's one of the best, and I think Chris is right. And
It's on my top 10.
that's my number 4. And then my number 3 is going to be from Mr. Scott Christopherson.
Oh, I'm so pleased. I usually get skunked in these things.
Yeah,
Bop, bop.
Scott.
And that
really good.
I'm having
is
a year.
and that is this little brilliant piece of thing that also I think Jim already took, but it's M.
Oh, M. Yes.
Because I think I have M on Criterion, and I hadn't watched it for years. I mean years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
watching it again this year was so fun and so spectacular, and so why I brought it in the first place and why it is what it is. And I think that we have to talk really briefly again about how Peter Lorre's performance is so ahead of its time. It's so, no one was acting like that back then. Not at that time. I mean, no one. In any way, it's just, and it's dark, it's weird, but it's not perfect. But it's so brilliant and scary, and like
Yeah.
I
You'll
wish
never
that you
hear
could
it
have,
in the Hall of the Mountain King the same way again.
no, like
Yeah.
the whistling and the opening of the scene when he buys the girl the balloon and then you see her ball roll on the ground. Like I can't stress how much like you could see the worst horror kill in the world and it's still not as
It wouldn't be
impactful
as
as that
disturbing as that.
moment. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
I thought
there's
the film
something
was-
about that.
There's that kind of meditation, I think, on how fragile morality is. It's like this guy is doing this, and you can tell at the end of the film he is a prisoner to his impulses.
It's
And
it's spectacular.
Well, no, you're all as guilty as me.
Exactly. It's like
yeah.
it's just an indictment of
And
every
Laurie
single
is so
Yeah, Laurie was
incredible.
And he's good in
you-
everything he's even good in Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Yes,
Oh,
he
God.
was.
Yeah, he is.
It's disappointing how much he became a comedic character after this.
Yeah. I
Because
know,
like you
yeah.
see how good he
Well,
is.
he's got those
as a
eyes, man.
dramatic
Well, he even showed up
actor.
in he's in, and it's
You
not a
see
bad
it
thing, but he's in
you see it
Scooby Doo.
Maltese Falcon and Casablanca.
He's so good in
even though they're
Casablanca.
I
small
love him
Yes,
in
he is.
Oh, he's
Casablanca.
so good in Casablanca. All right,
Okay.
so my number
You
3.
despise me, don't you?
That was your
You
three.
despise me, Rick.
no, Rick.
Oh, there it is. That's pretty good.
Okay, my number 2. Here we go. We're getting really down to it now. This is a Jim pick because I think this is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life, to be
Good
honest.
God.
And it's
Ah.
Persona.
Persona.
It certainly divided.
I
the
hadn't seen
crew.
that already.
I had never seen it, and I had been an Igmar, like in film school, they talked a lot about Bergman. They showed clips, but we never watched a whole Bergman
Sat down
film.
and watched the whole thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had tried to do Cries and Whispers. I tried to do Fanny Alexander, and I appreciate, but this movie, sitting down, I know it's maybe more accessible than some of his other stuff, but I also think that this is so artistic in a way that I am drawn to, just as a audience member and also as a filmmaker. I think I said this maybe when we talked about it, but I think this is like Godard if he was serious and better. I mean, I love Godard. I'm not trying to talk shit.
Maybe a little more depressed, but yeah.
Yes, more depressed. I'm not trying to talk shit. I love Godard. I love Godard, but I think that Bergman here taps into Godard territory, but he does it in his way. And I can't express how much I love this movie. I think there's so much Carl T. Dreyer in this movie, who I'm a big fan of, Vampire and The Passion of Joan of Arc. I think there's so much magnificent cinema in this movie. I mean, the scene where she's laying down and the other woman is in the other room walking towards her, and it's just completely like washed out, but yet she is so sharp. There's so much visual spectacle going on here that it doesn't seem contrived. It's literally art.
Yeah.
And also the performances are, come on.
No,
So
Both
Jared,
these movies.
what I'm hearing you saying is that we need Igmar Bergman's Grizzly 4.
I think so. Well, but I thought it was Godard, but we had to do it like Alphaville.
Right, we have to
So,
do
no.
Godard. We have to do Godard's Grizzly.
Well,
3
I'll tell you this though, and I'm
Bergman's-
not. This is not hyperbole. When the one actress describes what happened to her on the beach there,
Uh-huh.
the whole
that's
spoken-
that's the sexiest scene I've ever seen. Like, I've seen movies where I'm like, oh, that's really sexy. That story and that performance is maybe the sexiest thing I've ever heard or seen in cinema. I'm like, why is this so?
It's definitely the sex scene of the year for yelling about movies. I think.
Well, you know what I'm talking about, when she says the kids come down and they lay with them,
This,
and
this year we did Stranger in the Lake.
That's
and
the thing, the
they
lake-
really showed a sex act on screen, and this one is. You're right. It's actually better because it's being described. It actually.
although I hope someone picks Stranger in the Lake, but they probably won't. But anyway,
I
okay.
thought about it.
It made it
It's
to
not
my,
bad. Okay, I think it's brilliant. But thank you, Jim, because this is the gem. All right, and the number 1 for me. I mean, the
Of course.
absolute number
Oh.
1.
Wait, we haven't done
Rare
Tad yet,
export.
so
Couldn't sleep for a while, huh?
I mean, it's not a surprise. I probably already told you guys and talked about it, but I mean, come on, it's
Sorry, that's not reading. That's not scanning. What is it?
It's a big eye.
friggin' I picked
Pure.
The Cure.
Cure.
Bitter.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
dude. I
Bitter
don't
Future.
think I've ever seen maybe a better film. Okay, this movie, I don't know why I never saw it. Thank you,
Fuck,
Tad, so
dude.
much. This movie is I couldn't sleep for like a fucking week.
Sign of a good movie.
And I don't care what anybody says. I did watch Ari Aster was in the Criterion Closet, and he's like, there's an argument to be made that this is probably the best movie ever made. And I'm like, Mr. Aster, I know you're being hyperbolic, but I don't necessarily disagree with you, sir, because I think there's something about this movie. And then I think Jim and I talked about it. There, I watched all the Criterion
In the
special
closet.
features.
yeah, special features about this and the way they talked about it. And this is not just some simple little thriller movie. There was so much thought put into this, and I think that when you see the interviews with everyone and when you see the critics talking about what's going on both visually and like narratively in this picture, it's really spectacular, and it's very uncommon that the movie has this much thought put into it. But this is
Kurosawa's absolute refusal to talk about what any of it means and just leave it up to the viewer is just so wonderful. Like, you figure it out.
Yeah. And also, like, I want to single out also the performance of the lead actor, because I mean, obviously it's so good all the way through, but
the bad guy.
We maybe don't know if it's real, but if you guys remember the scene when he comes home and his wife has hung herself. We don't know if it's real, but do you remember his reaction? That performance is maybe one of the best things I've ever seen from an actor in terms of, because it's not vocal, it's completely physical.
It's absolutely searing.
He doesn't make a noise. He just makes a face and a body. He falls to the floor. Anyway, there's so many levels of this thing that I think are special. And I mean, obviously the script and like the cop that shoots the other cop like it's fucking Tuesday and I'm getting the paper. Like, it's just, oh God, it's so good. And this movie freaked me out and rocked my fucking world for like weeks, and I can't stop thinking about it. And it's like the best thing.
I picked it for you, Jared.
You know, like, all right. So I'm taking too much time. Okay, here's my number 6, which is just
6.
Well, no, I mean, like, our plus one.
Your outside world, your outside world. Yeah.
Here's my plus one, my outside world, which is a tie. Well, let me go through my honorable mentions real quick first. Okay. Honorable mentions from all you guys, which are amazing. La Circle Rouge, Killer Joe, 12 Angry Men, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, Bone Tomahawk, Proof, which I think doesn't get enough love. It's amazing. His Girl Friday, Upgrade, and Zodiac. Those are my honorable mentions.
That's always, that's well-rounded.
So my plus one, though, is a tie this year, because I think The Holdovers.
A lot of movies.
The Holdovers is one of the best movies of the year. It feels like it was made in the 70s or the 80s. It's done so well.
Oh, yeah. The
Alexander Payne is back in full force. You should all see it. But it's tied with one that we haven't talked about yet that I saw. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Anyway, it's fucking brilliant, and it's called Dream Scenario.
Oh,
that's the Nicolas Cage thing?
Nicolas Cage.
Yes, and it's fucking spectacular, and I highly recommend it.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Drum roll. Curtain coming up.
Yeah. That was unintentional, but it was dramatic, wasn't it?
It was dramatic.
Shifted position and everything. Like,
What I wanted to do was load up my also rans, or my runners up, because I think I could have put them at the end, but I think it's relevant to start with them. And this is not a complete list of the movies I like.
Oh no, you're right. You should start with those. I
mean, this is some of the movies that I was impressed with this year.
Oh, yeah.
read them off.
Piano Teacher #1. I
Killer Joe's not on there. M's not on there. I'm kind of sticking to movies I hadn't already seen that somebody else picked. But God, we saw a lot of good movies this year.
The worst person in the world should be someone's #1.
Oh, I made it 3 times.
So, what I want to say about this is that this year it was interesting for me. It was easy for me to pick my top 3, but it was really hard for me to pick number 4 and 5. And that's because, like, the films on this list, there were a bunch of movies that were like a B or a B plus. Like,
read them off.
Damn, those were good. But which ones do I pick? So it's like any one of these might have been my 4 and 5.
I've got 3 in your honorable mentions.
They're
Maybe.
not.
John, read them off. God damn it.
Read them off. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, up on the list here, it is The Piano Teacher, which was pretty amazing. The Forgotten Battle, pretty amazing. I'm just gonna say pretty amazing one time, and then there you go. World on a Wire. Come on.
Actually, Jim, World on Wire was on the short list for me because it's pretty spectacular.
It's weird. It's German. It's
You
very
see people
German.
dressed
Weird
like a
and German.
couch.
It's
German
strange,
weird. It's
yeah.
like,
No, it's
and
amazing.
It's like The
It's
Matrix
amazing.
before The Matrix. It was like a
Yeah.
Philip K. Dick novel. It was amazing.
But I
it
love
had love doll in it. It was like really strange.
I love that
Tayarama,
filmmaker.
That was something else. I loved the ending. Get Duked. I still say DJ Beetroot. Anytime somebody on a cooking show shows
DJ Beetroot.
every time they say Beetroot, I go
No,
DJ
but you have to say it
Beetroot.
like this. Oh, DJ Beetroot. You
DJ
don't say it like that.
That was a very fun film.
That's a good movie. Cha Cha Real Smooth. I had already seen that. Was happy to watch it again. Really,
It's a good movie.
Worst Person in the World. Same note. Repo. I mean, that's one that sticks in your head. And like I
come
said,
on.
I'd rather watch an interesting failure than a well-made mediocre film any old day. So,
But the worst
White
part in the
Heat,
world.
very cool. Glad I finally saw it.
Oh, thank God.
1944. I liked it better than any of you. And 12 Angry Men. This is the only time Chris is going to appear on any list for me this year. Sorry, he picked too many monkey movies, I think.
He picked.
No, he picked so many good things, dude.
Never
Bone
make a monkey out of
Tomahawk,
him.
Killer Joe.
Killer Joe was really good at Killer Joe should be on this list. All right, so enough
Fuck
about the
Bone
movies I didn't.
He did all the Moorhead and Benson.
movies
films.
you didn't
That was kind of
pick.
cool.
The movies
No,
I did not pick.
Wasn't that only two? Didn't it roll over from last year?
Yeah, there's two on there, but
The
the
third one was this year. The other two were last.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
Oh,
go ahead.
really?
Actually, no, that's not true.
Other way around, other way around.
Two of the three were this year.
Right. One was last year, two were this year.
Endless
Oh.
and Something in the Dirt were this year.
And then you
My
did.
favorite
and
of
then you
all
did
those was the
monkeys.
fucking first one. The
Then you
first
did
one was the
monkeys
best.
I think
Where the
the
guy's
last,
like a drug addict chained to the
last one
wall.
was my favorite. All right, John, go.
I
ahead and
liked
pick.
I liked the second one where they're brewing the beer and the what was that? What one called?
I didn't like
the
that.
endless.
That's
Endless.
Endless. The Endless.
What
I
was
liked
the first one called?
Fuck.
Resolution.
Resolution.
There you go.
That's my favorite.
No, they should work on their titles a little bit. They're a little bit unmemorable.
They're too
No,
busy
Something in
getting
the
all that
Dirt is a
Marvel
good
money.
Something in the Dirt is a good fucking title.
Come on,
It's just not a good movie.
I know.
That title is better than the whole movie.
All
Okay.
right, go ahead, John, take it.
You
man.
guys are eating into my time now.
I know that's the
Okay,
thing.
here's my top 5. I don't have posters. Scott, you could put them in.
Of
Okay,
course.
I didn't
Number
either. I
5.
just made it on the fly, which
Number
sucked. Because you guys
5.
are like, what the fuck is that?
Shut up.
Okay, we'll do it live.
Number 5, a Jared pick. Close.
Yes. Fuck
really
yes.
well-made film.
Good movie.
Dude, it's a
Really
beautiful
memorable.
movie. I know it
Beautifully
triggered
shot.
Tad, but it's a
Yes.
beautiful movie.
Beautifully shot and beautifully made and amazing performances and yeah, really a standout. And then number 4, another Jared pick. La Moustache.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm so glad someone picked that.
He did a physical joke for that.
Definitely has he oh my goodness. Speaking of
Whoa,
speaking
look
of
at
mustache
all
off,
that-
John.
Whoa. You got the wrong opposite, dude. You took the
What are you talking about? I look completely the same.
John never had a mustache.
Okay, now I have to go
I
back.
don't
A
know.
mustache.
Look
Number 3 is a Scott Christopherson pick.
at-
What do you think it is?
Used cars.
Used cars.
No.
Great minds think
M?
alike, man.
M?
But you're very close in
Fuck all
proximity.
Oh, no.
Beowulf.
Beowulf.
Oh,
Whoa.
gotta be-
You liked Beowulf
I
that
don't like
much?
it.
I liked
love it.
Beowulf so much.
That's
Oh,
great.
wow.
Good for you,
Hey,
John.
no, I was
This
the
is
only
your
person.
pick.
I was the only other person that liked it too, John. I think on
No,
that episode.
I think Jim likes it. We were kind of split on this, right?
No,
I loved it.
But like
I
we
can't
see
I,
it
remember.
it wouldn't be in my
Chris,
top
thank you.
5, but I love that movie.
It's in my top 5 because I keep thinking about. It's like one reason I pick things for my top 5 is if it sticks to my ribs in some way. It's like I keep thinking about it,
Yeah.
and I think some movies
Chris.
you love and you keep thinking about them because they're good, and other movies I keep thinking about because they make me think about movies in general in a different way.
Well, I'll tell you what. Like,
And
I
this
think
is
that,
one. Let me finish my point, Jared. This one makes me think about filmmaking in a different way. In that it's like, yeah, that looks crappy, but ultimately I got sucked into the story and I didn't care. And maybe it's better that it doesn't look great because then you bring something to it. It's like reading a comic strip in the Sunday paper or something.
Or like an animatic.
I think it kind of
or,
looks
or
fine.
watching
and
an
not only that,
animatic.
Yeah,
and it's
like-
like I was so moved by the thing. I just
Yeah.
really got into it.
Yeah, that's
I
great, man.
I can't remember that episode, but I think I can, and I agree with you, John. I love that
Gerard Butler one.
Number 2.
Number 2,
Mhm.
a Jim pick.
Oh,
I wrote a blog post about it, Jim.
Oh, good God.
Tokyo Story.
oh,
great movie. Yeah,
It is a great movie.
great movie.
Yeah, I
Great
totally
movie.
forgot. I picked
Agree, Chris.
Oh, I'm glad you
half my
did.
movies
Jim.
that
I
was,
really
I
enjoyed
picked
it.
that? That's like the same deal.
I thought it was so beautifully
Lovely
made,
movie.
and I
Lovely
got
movie.
into the story. I was so moved by the story.
Dude, Ozu was in a class of his
I'm
own.
the asshole who hated
Yes, he was.
Yes, you're the asshole in this
So
case.
am I. So am I.
All right. Okay. I don't think my number 1 pick is going to be very controversial. I won't talk about it quite as long as Jared did, but fucking The Cure, not The Cure, Cure.
Sure.
Sure.
Yes.
Come on.
That's our front runner.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is now.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, sucked me in from like minute 1.
Yep.
Kept surprising me. It was just so amazingly made. The performances, the filmmaking, and like Jared said, it's very well thought out. They really put a lot of thought into it, and it's like the details we talked about during when we did the episode, like the fact that the gramophone or whatever that thing's called that he was listening to had no cylinder on it.
Yeah.
The wax.
The scene in that building, which is that building, does that building he went to even exist for the final showdown?
Okay,
So
John?
there's my 5.
Okay, and what are your plus?
And my plus ones. Let's see. I have a picture for this.
Oh, cool.
Just a moment, please. One moment, please. And I kind of have 2 picks because I know I got the feeling this year that people are picking things they saw that came out in 2023. And
Which you don't have to, I guess.
Right.
Right.
It can just be something you saw for the first time this
I
year.
was going to pick Tar because I saw it like a year late, but
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
just has
you
to be
could
something you
have-
saw this year.
all right. Well, this is something I saw this year. This is from 2004. American director named Lodge Kerrigan. The film is called Keen.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
I
Is
got
that
it
the
on
guy from
DVD.
that bad TV show?
He's from Billions.
Yeah, it's
And
The
Band of
actors-
Brothers.
Homeland.
He's Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
Damian
So
Lewis.
a bunch of bad TV shows. Yeah.
Okay,
Band
let
of
me
Brothers is
talk,
not a bad
let me
TV
fucking
show.
talk
Go fuck
about
What
it.
are you talking about?
Jesus. Yeah, Damian Lewis is the actor. There's Abigail Breslin's in it. She's very young. Amy Ryan was
Wow.
always great. I saw it way back in March, and I haven't been able to shake it. Talk about a movie that gets its hooks in you. This is one I keep thinking about. So
All right.
that's half of my plus one. My other half, and I don't have a picture for this, is I just went to the theater and saw Godzilla minus
Fuck,
Minus
I gotta see
one.
this movie.
Oh, I hear nothing but good things.
Oh my God.
Gotta
Dang.
see this movie.
It's everything you'd want in a Godzilla movie.
And it's a
What
regular
got me
and a
into
regular
movies,
movie
Godzilla
too.
movies.
It's about people. It's not about a giant monster
No,
necessarily.
I never cried at a Godzilla movie before. You get sucked in, you get involved with the characters. But still, like the 10-year-old of me, when they took the boats out and the music's going da 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 da, and they're trying to
Godzilla
catch
music's going.
Godzilla with the cables. It's like, God damn it, go get Godzilla, go!
I picked films I really connected with that made me think for days afterwards, and also had an emotional resonance. And that's like for any film. But some of these, you guys really came through this year. I think the picks this year are just the
Oh
best.
yeah, I'm a genius. Just keep
All
going.
you guys, pat yourself in the back. Not literally, because you'll hurt yourself. But no, do what you gotta do. Then
I can literally do that.
I know you can. That's good, man. So anyway, going from
I have arms.
the lowest to the highest. I spread around, but I didn't spread around strictly. So I'll apologize when I'm done. The number 5 for me was Carrie, because I've seen it many times, and I saw it just kind of like analytically this year, and it's so good, and it's about I love De Palma,
Go
the way
Chris.
that
Go
he kind of-
Chris.
he
Go
kind of
Chris.
has this thing where it's you hope, and you keep hoping that things are going to work out for Carrie.
They do not.
Go
It's
Chris.
not-
Go
and
Chris.
you literally
Go
break
Chris.
at one point. The whole thing just breaks, and it's just like that fucks with you on a very good, very deep level.
It's the kind of movie that it's just made so well.
It's just made so
But
well. There's
it's
not
a
a stray hair in
tragedy.
this whole film. All right,
But-
and then the next one up is a Jim Beso pick is World on a Wire.
Yes.
Because that film made me think.
Give
man.
it love, baby. Give that love.
It was gorgeous. It was thoughtful. It was
is gorgeous.
long,
There's
but
a lot of chair turning
a lot of
that's
chair turning,
unnecessary.
yeah.
But it's really fun.
A lot of people
walking.
walking through the frame for no reason.
People being
And then for
chased.
some reason, like shit falls on a person. You don't know
and
why.
this thing goes in a river for no reason. It's like
Bad
it's fucked up.
suits.
But the whole
Yeah.
thing about like glitch in the matrix.
Oh, you kind of know why. They drove the car in the river. Yeah.
The thing is, the invention,
the lake.
the sheer amount of
it's a
invention
river.
in this film was just off the charts. This guy thinking of this stuff so far in advance. It's so well done. And then the third one is Cure.
Yeah.
Such a film.
I
And
think
that's
Cure
one of the ones you
wins.
think about for days afterwards. Because
I think this movie is winning so far.
it's like in 2001,
Yeah,
that
I can't
refusal
pick
to
it, so.
explain what's actually happening makes this film powerful.
But that's like 3.
You don't know
I
what's
think.
happening in this film. It doesn't matter almost, because it sets a great tone. It was really beautifully done, and it's so mysterious. You would love a good mystery, and this is,
Oh God, dude.
yeah, this was really good in that one.
7 eat your heart out. I think.
And related to this, in terms of being a great mystery as well, was the next one, which was La Moustache.
Yes,
Yeah.
2 for the yes.
But
yeah.
La Moustache, that's like nothing's real. Nothing at all is real.
Existential crisis.
That's like
baby.
the universe gaslighting one guy.
Yeah.
Basically, that's
I know.
it's
Or
like,
And
he's gaslighting
how come they never looked at the photos?
it didn't matter. It
Like
just
she's
didn't
like
matter.
he's
I know.
like do I have a mustache in any of these photos?
Yep.
It was insane. It was like
It's so
such a
fucking
thing-
weird.
But that's I feel
And
like
your
I'm taking-
parents are dead.
taking a
What the
very
fuck are you
simple-
talking about? I just talked to my dad yesterday.
Exactly. But taking a very simple idea and expanding it to a whole film, just like this one little shave your mustache off and see what happens.
I love
just-
premises like that. That's why I
Oh,
love that
man.
movie, because it's like it changes your entire world.
Before you know it, you're in a village in China. It's
Yes.
it's like it's crazy.
Going back and forth across the sound.
Yeah, that's true. Back and
Oh
forth.
God, yeah,
No
those
apparent-
sequences are
Back
so
on
good.
again.
Oh, it's so great. They have great tone. And the number one, and I'm surprised no one's even mentioned this yet. Sisu.
Thank you.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, all
You know,
night for that.
I had when I finished this film. Remember,
So
you
fun.
remember when
So
you first
fun.
saw
Made
Mad
my
Max Fury
runner-up.
Road? Same feeling, man. I actually want to paraphrase what Steve Soderbergh said about Mad Max Fury Road. It's like you watch it, you try to do 30. If you imagine trying to do 30 seconds of this film, you put a gun to your head, because it's so audacious and fun and bloody and patriotic in a weird way, and hopeful and
And
just
Furiosa
inventive
is coming.
and gorgeously shot and fucking tight as a drum.
And
Just-
finish is shit.
I
Yeah.
could not pick my own movie, but I also bought this movie.
Yes, but it was like when I was over, it was like
I actually also have it on Blu-ray already.
it was so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, it was.
And I'm so glad we watched the Christmas one by him, because just to see his progression
I'm
as a
in.
filmmaker.
Yeah.
He goes on the list. I
Um,
don't care what it is. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm down for whatever he makes in the future, 100%.
Yeah, I met this total stranger. We were talking at a bar down in Arroyo Grande, and he mentioned this movie, and I said I saw that. We talked about it for like 20 minutes. It's
Yep.
like
Mhm.
it's
Yep.
that the film is that effective. So just some good picks. I'm sorry,
Well, I
John,
hate
that you were not on this list. I apologize. I tried to spread it around, but I had to go
That's the
with
way it goes.
I had to kind of go with my heart. Sorry. Okay, so the ones I saw in the real world.
You have to go with your heart. That's it.
Yeah, you do. So there's some pretty good films this year that came out. It's a lot of crappy ones too, but Holdovers I really like quite a bit.
Oh my God.
I
I'm
don't-
telling you, it's
I know
the best.
none of you saw Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, but that's a good film.
I heard
heard
really
good
good
things.
things. I did not
Yeah.
see it. I
Yeah,
heard it's
it is.
great.
It's very effective, and it's just real. It's really
Well, yeah.
well done.
If you have no
Fire
balls
Moon.
and you want to watch a YA movie, I heard
Yeah, it's a
one.
YA film. It's on an airplane. I watched it.
I'm kidding. I totally
It's
want
on-
to watch
no,
it.
it's fine. I get it. But The Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer are kind of on the same level for me.
Oh, they're
overly
great.
long.
They're both great.
They're both great, but they're both kind of long. And
I think Oppenheimer
did I
is
mention the
the
fact they're
better
long?
film.
Yeah, okay, good enough. And then Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I thought was really fun. Yeah, I saw that.
A lot
in
of of people like that.
I did. I thought it was really funny.
We'll get to it. I need to be prepared for the animal
Who
cruelty.
gives
Yeah,
a shit?
and the runner up is the final was Barbie. I thought was really fun. It was a
Wait,
good-
so what's your number one?
number one, Godzilla -1. Come on,
Yay!
that's the best thing I've seen.
Wait,
all
but
year.
you
Plus
can
one.
have, and you went 8.
Jared, take a deep breath. I said runners up at the beginning of it, and I said number one was Godzilla -1. I clearly stated my premise. If you didn't pay attention to that, that's on you, man. right.
All right.
Jared.
I think it's still Tad's turn.
Okay. So I try to pick movies that I haven't seen before. I don't always get all the way through that for these. But I just want to put a list up of my also rans, which are The Rocketeer, Captain America, the First Avenger, Fury.
That's a Scott double feature.
That's a Scott double feature because they're both Joe Johnson movies.
That's
and,
right.
Yeah. And Captain America
because
really
you like
is a
American
sequel,
garbage. Yeah, I
is
gotcha.
really a sequel to The Rocketeer.
Correct.
Fury, which is great. 12 Angry Men, which, as I said in that episode, brought me back around on that movie. Like,
love that movie.
and M, because M is fucking M.
It's
Like,
him, dude. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So 5-1. My number 5, Jared pick, 13 Lives.
Good fucking movie,
wow.
man.
Great fucking film. Great fucking film.
Opie makes really good disaster movies.
Well,
Like,
I don't like everything he does, but he did it right this time.
but he makes good disaster movies. He can
Apollo
really
13.
Ew.
Good
well,
movie.
you know what I loved about this one? He didn't get sentimental.
well, but he doesn't do that in Apollo 13 either. Like,
No, but he does get sentimental in a lot of other movies that he does.
But,
Dude,
right,
have you
but I'm
seen
specifically talking
Ransom?
about. I'm specifically talking about his disaster movies. Is he's so good at just putting this idea out there and being like, let the
Yeah.
tension carry you through.
Yep.
Like,
And he's got a killer cast.
yes, he's
That
got a
was my
killer
number
cast.
two
Always.
runner-up.
The scene where the Indonesian diver dies
Oh
in
God, I know. Yeah.
it's just like that's
It's
one of the
so
most
brutal.
disturbing deaths I've ever seen in a movie. Like, it's brutal.
That movie fucking
And also the scene where they first bring Joel Edgerton in and he's like, I'm not.
I'm not doing that. What
Yeah.
the
He's
no.
like, what are you talking about? Why am I here?
I'm not gonna inject these. What do you no?
Yeah, you're
no.
like, you're an anesthesiologist. He's like, yeah. So why am I here? I'm
Right,
not
right
gonna
now.
do this.
no.
And they're like, and they're such good actors. They're like, well, we thought maybe. He's like,
And-
no,
I'm not. No, I'm not doing that.
No.
And then they eventually talk him into doing it. And
Of
it's-
course.
yeah.
It's just insane.
Seriously, Jared, that and Dogtooth were like tied for me.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
insane.
My number 4 movie is a Scott pick, and it's Upgrade. Cause fuck yeah.
Upgrade.
Like, the
I can't believe that's Chris's number one.
Yes,
I
it is.
love it.
the
was
number
made for me.
the way that they do the fight scenes in that, where they just have the camera locked on him the entire time, and there's all those great scenes.
Oh,
where
dude,
he,
the first time he
moves his
rises
head
up
and
in
he's
that
just
fucking house, dude.
well, and he moves his head and he's looking directly at the camera, and he's just doing all of this because his body's moving for him.
Dude, Skinny
Like-
Tom Hardy had to like really work for that shit.
Yeah,
He was amazing.
He did.
Skinny Tom Hardy was great.
He's
Yeah.
amazing.
Unfortunately, Jim has left, but my number 3 is Forgotten Battle.
Oh, wow.
Good
like,
movie.
Good movie.
Like-
Oh, that was a good movie.
Good movie.
like-
That was good.
I
Yeah. That's a
I
good film.
knew about that battle like intellectually before that, but like
The ending of that movie was so fucking good.
well, and the way that you see how futile all of it is because they're fighting over like 10 feet of this bridge.
You know what I'm talking about?
Like,
When they're in the fucking field at the
Yes.
end and they just like look at each other.
yeah,
Oh God.
but they're just
That
fighting
was
over
good.
10 feet of this bridge and no one's getting anywhere, and the war's already over really at that
Yeah.
point, and it's
Oh.
just like
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a good
Good
film.
movie.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
really good film.
Yeah.
Number 2 is this is me breaking the I already saw it, but it doesn't matter. Sisu.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Chris.
Yes.
Like
Mhm.
you
Oh,
want to
it's
get me?
great.
I
wanna get
picked
me?
it
Great.
because
How
you talked it up.
You want to get me? How about we just murder a bunch of Nazis in the funnest way possible?
Yeah.
Like, hey, turns
And
out
so-
I'm
And
into that.
And also weirdly make these like these women badass bitches
Oh yeah,
come
no,
out
that's-
of the
that-
gate like to like, oh, that was rad.
Yeah.
And again, the scene where like the tank gun comes into the back of the
Yeah.
truck, like it's
Come on, this is-
just
It doesn't get
it's-
symbolism doesn't get
I
more
wish
symbolic than
John
that.
Wick 4 had been 1/10 as good as Sisu.
Yeah.
It was too long and not as good as the first 3.
Not even
and
close.
then my number 1 pick this year, Jared, this is the first time I think you've ever been on my list twice. Disorder.
Yes.
Oh,
Disorder
What a
is
great
movie,
film.
Disorder is a movie that I have recommended to people in the broadest swath of my life. Like, it's
Oh,
just one of those movies where I'm like, you need to watch this because it does such a good job of being what it is. And then on top of that, the whole thing with the director, like, shooting him as in the way that a man would shoot a beautiful woman, it's so interesting how
Yeah, it's
the
a female
camera,
director.
right, how
Yeah.
the camera follows him in all these ways, and then it just crashes into being an action movie a couple of times. And the scene where he just beats that dude to death on the coffee
Oh
table,
God, on the coffee
and
table.
she's
Yeah,
watching him do it,
because it's the first time she's seen that kind of
Right.
thing from
well,
him.
yeah, because she's being dragged away when he drops under the car and shoots him.
But dude,
like,
no, dude, the scene when they go to the beach though.
yeah,
Oh my
Our number
God.
ones are each other's.
my +1 would have been How to Blow Up a Pipeline, but I picked that for this, so that doesn't work. So my actual number 1 is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
That
Oh,
is
okay.
extremely fucking entertaining.
I
Which
heard it's
is-
good. I
which-
want to
which
watch
is-
it. I haven't seen it. I heard it's
Which
funny.
is legitimately maybe the most fun I've had watching a movie this year. Like, it's
I really like
just-
Chris Pine. I think Chris Pine is really
Oh,
funny.
Chris, he's
I would
amazing
put
in it.
that in the same bucket as Plane.
Michelle
I-
Rodriguez is
fucking entertaining.
Oh,
fantastic
she's wonderful
in it.
in everything.
Now, if you never once picked up a eight-sided
Doesn't
die
matter. Doesn't
or
matter.
played
Doesn't
D&D,
matter. There's
I never played
jokes in
D&D,
there.
but I heard it's fun.